July 16th, 2024. Gorgeous summer day, nice blue skies. Probably going to warm up in a bit. Um, yeah, regardless of the vectors I was following, I wanted to mention some RWA business ideas. I was talking about my eBay inventory and stuff. One of the things that I have is a lot of vintage print ads that are growing into collectability and plenty of vintage magazines to make a lot more. Um, Without what's gone wrong with the business model on eBay, it's another case of ignoramuses, market saturation, ruining the market, ruining the scarcity. But one of the things about RWAs, if we're going to tokenize real world object and say, you buy this NFT, you've bought this object. We'll hold it in stewardship until you come calling for it, right? As well, then we get into the problems of storage, part of asset management, and responsibilities we've committed to. Yeah, need legal disclaimers in all our NFTs. Yeah, but yeah, one of the don't get off of that tangent. I'm gonna try to say it quickly. One of the pitfalls with NFTs is people buy it, they think they own it. No, they own the image of it. They don't get like copyright to it or anything. You're not buying the rights to take that and sell it and stuff. You're just getting a copy of the image, which sounds silly on its face, which does lead me into my point. Anyhow, I mentioned comic books and I've mentioned boats and, of course, housing and stuff. Real estate can be used. It is being done that way. Um, but vintage print ads. I still believe in vintage print ads and I love them because I have a love for ephemera. If you don't know what ephemera is, go look it up or ask your mother. Um, Point is whereas even comic books or antique singing bowls, or I've got a inventory of figurines like the three house gods is one of my areas. I pick them up when I find them. Um, and the intention is for resale, but meanwhile I get to enjoy them. And if they never sell, big deal. Um, so see, this is billionaire mind stuff. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because you haven't opened up to being a part of a billionaire mind. So vintage print ads. The thing is, okay, what you do is you take a potentially desirable or collectible ad out of a vintage magazine and you put it with archival backing board, which is for preserving the paper, in an archival bag, which is the other part of it. And I was putting like guarantee, you could print out a guarantee thing and maybe some history about it, or maybe even in this year, yeah, because you mark the years. Okay, this is a vintage print ad from a 1949 magazine. Here's a secret. You don't include what magazine it came from, because yeah, they could just go buy the magazine, get that and more, probably less money. That's the arbitrage here. So Um, so you say the year and you guarantee it and maybe have some history on the year or what's in it. Like, well, I'm thinking about it. I got one up on my wall here. It's one of the very first TVs. Is it RC? No, it's not even RCA. Some company you don't think of making TVs, but it's one of the first ones when they first came out. And it's got, I think it's Ray Bolger, famous dancer on it with some famous starlet from a movie that was out at the time. And I think I looked for three factors. There's two factors. See, now if that TV was like pink, that would be the third one. Anyhow, so you look for like three collectible factors why collectors would want it. And there's a lot of nuances to this market, which I won't get into. The point is, you've got this sheet of paper in this bag with a board, very thin. In fact, the archival bags are so slippery that if you've got a stack of them like this, it's hard to keep them together without a box or something because they want to slide all over. It's kind of like herding cats. Um, but they're very thin, so hundreds, thousands of these could be stored in like a comic book box, archival comic book box, and take very little space and no big deal. And the thing is, in most cases, probably very few people will come calling and say, "Oh, I think that's so cool. I want that first TV. I want to put it up on the wall. So can you send it to me?" Or I want to resell it. Let us keep it. Go ahead and resell it. It's here for whoever owns it. Um, that helps break that problem. Um, okay, now here's why would that work when they could get the magazine themselves and it would be cheaper, or they could go onto eBay and find somebody who doesn't understand how the market works and arbitrage off of them. Why are they going to buy our product? And make it clear, we want to make it legally clear, we're not selling that ad to be resold or anything about it like that. We're just selling that actual piece of paper, which collectors would want to buy, like a comic book. Do you get in copyright troubles for putting images of the comic book you're selling on eBay? God, I hope not. Um, Although it strikes me that we're probably getting into the apathy realm of things. Anyhow, not that somebody doesn't still have a copyright they could attack you about, but they probably don't care. Not enough money in it. So we want to make that clear. But it's great for collections, for our monthly collection mini, because we can have these collections. And I'll mention once again, when you're minting NFTs currently for the collector market, it's not uncommon to be talking about 10,000 items at a time. So I can put a worker to work just scanning in these things and doing the content part of the NFT. And if we run out of ones to list, or now I know so much more about supply and demand and scarcity in that market. Like I said, I got lots of vintage magazines that we can burst apart and mine for. See, that's how the business model with vintage print ads worked when I was working it. For $2 to $40, you can get a vintage magazine, and out of it, you'll probably get 10 to 20 uh, new assets. These VPAs, vintage print ads. We live in the era of acronyms, I tell you. And sometime, let me tell you about my theories about the English language in 100 years. When we're playing and having fun, I'm sure we'll explore that some. It's kind of like speaking in Pig Latin. Anyhow, um, so that could be huge, and I can put somebody to work. See, so I can put almost anyone to work, even if they're just going through a quite mechanical or protocol or process. Excuse me, while some of these nonces from so-called memories are coming into my mind. See, it's not easy being me. Nah, I'm kidding. It is easy being me. Um, because how am I to develop a billionaire mind machine if I don't understand my mind, your mind? What is a mind? People aren't really working on this. They think they are, but they're not. So, 10 minutes, that's a good size recording. Maybe I should keep going with this. So many ways to make money. There is so many ways to make money that I don't consider it conceivable that we wouldn't have way more money than we really want to have. I'm thinking of Wizards of the Coast. Uh, these businesses have been doing this for decades, and for 50 years, I've been watching them do it and considering how I can apply that to my own enterprises. Yes, that used to be the name of my business since 1984, Bright Day Enterprises. Go to Wayback Machine, maybe you can find some stuff. I don't know. I had over 150 websites at my peak. And I tried all the games as they came in. Like I owned my own search engines before Google dominated and became the monopoly. Google's like this compared to the knowledge system I have in mind. In mind, there we go. Why am I pointing to my head? See, I don't believe mind is in the brain, but that's a real esoteric advanced thought that we'd have to be in a zone. Okay, so let's bounce.